Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel, and today we're going to be unboxing a book, but not just any book, a big book. This is a huge, heavy, wonderful book. I can't wait to get it open. It's Disney related, and so let's go ahead and get started. Right, so the box is a little bit bigger. It's not in great condition. I have a couple holes and stuff here, so I'm hoping that everything looks good once we get it taken out here. So let's go ahead and make a slice. Again, this is from Taschen, and they have multiple kinds of books, but they do larger books, and this is one of those larger books. It's going to be the largest Disney book that I have, and also likely the most expensive Disney book I have. Now, one of the things I hate when getting items is peanuts. I just loathe them because they get everywhere and they're, I don't know. It's not my favorite, but we'll get over that pretty quick. There's not too many. Like, why even put peanuts at all? If you're gonna use so much other packing material, why opt for the peanuts? So let me just safely put this away so that I don't get peanuts all over everything in my life. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and unwrap this. No. Oh, it's got I can see already it has a nice box to it. Ooh, and it's sealed as well. That means it should be great condition. So, as I mentioned, I mean, this is it's a $200 retail piece on Taschen's website, Taschen's website, and it's they have other versions of this book. They have a version that's a little bit smaller. I think it's $25. So 200 versus 25, and you have to go between what you want to get. I like the big books. Again, this is hefty. It's a heavy book, and I really enjoy that. I like having a bigger book. It just seems more substantive, and so I don't know. I enjoy that. With my collections, is having something a little bit more girthy and weighty. It has a little bit more. I don't know what the word to describe it is. It's better. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So it comes in a nice cardboard box. A lot of the boxes from Taschen come with these cardboard exterior boxes with handles. They do have books that are like thousands of dollars, and so this is definitely not the most expensive box that they have, but it is a nice touch that they put it within there. So if you do want to store it long term, or you want to resell it, this adds a nice storage thing. Or even if you're moving homes or something like that, you can put it in the box so that it protects it. So that's good as well. Okay. Well, that was loud. Okay, so we're going to take out the book. And we'll put this to the side. Okay. And I don't know, it seems like I want to say that this hasn't been opened, but I wonder if somebody maybe just repackaged this plastic. It doesn't seem like it was on that much, but I mean, the book seems relatively good condition, so I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll go ahead and see here. Okay, so this is a beautiful book. It's got sort of an embossing here, so it feels nice to put your hands over it. It's got a hefty feel to it, and I'm not sure how much this weighs. I'm gonna guess this is up there. We did a review of the Rick Baker collection, which was about 16 pounds. I don't know if this might be up there. It might be in that 12 to 15 pound range. So we'll see. I have to weigh it at some point. All right, so you open it up, and I love how they just start out right away. So on the cover here, they go ahead and start with the animation stuff that's built right into the binding there. And here are the 7 dwarves here. We're not going to go through, as with most of the book reviews I'm not going to go through every single page, but go ahead and flip through to kind of show you some of what's there. So there's old Walt Disney, and here's some of the studios here, the early animation stuff. I don't know what is happening here. from Alice to Mickey. It's Virginia Davis. Oh, okay, Virginia. Okay. She's on a movie set there. So, it gets in a little bit of the history of Disney, and then starts moving into the cartoon pieces. And, I can already see, what's really nice about this is that, you get, multiple different drawings and multiple different concepts for some of these things. It looks like, this is just a mock-up, and this is more of the official background. And so it's kind of neat when they can show through some of the step-by-step process of these items. So I'm not readily recognizing some of these cartoons. So, obviously it's a little beyond my era. I can recognize some of the style. I mean, there's Donald Duck here. It looks like it's a panoramic background that they probably used. But I'm not immediately recognizing these things. This almost looks like Snow White. Yeah, that is Snow White. So it's an early concept for Snow White there. Oh, now we're getting into more Snow White stuff. And it is kind of cool to see, they put notations here, scene fades into dream sequence, and it shows you an early concept of what things look like, and that's one of the things I think is really neat about concept art. If you look at something from like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and you can see some of those early concept pieces where they were wanting Harrison Ford to play, the detective, and then they get Bob Hoskins, which is a total night and day thing. But if you didn't see the concept art, you wouldn't necessarily know that that's what they were going to. So there's a lot of pages in this book. Let me see if I can get a page count at the end here. I can see 620. There's 620 pages total, which, I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, if you're paying per page, you get a good discount here. I love this. This I absolutely love. I just flipped to it randomly. So they actually have a full sequence of drawings or kind of storyboards that shows how the scene is going to progress, or each number, and it sort of lays out like this might have been on the wall of the studio. That's really neat. I really enjoy that. I go through these books on these reviews, and then I go through them more in depth myself, and you always find something new. All right, this is Fantasia. And I'm skipping, 5, 10, 15 pages at a time here. Oh, and then we get into some of the what it's like in the animation studio. The animator drawing desks and some of those types of things. So it kind of shows what their setups looked like and how they worked and what their office would look like in the day when they went. The Reluctant Dragon. I do remember The Reluctant Dragon. That's just getting into more of my not my era, but the era of film that I remember seeing it as a child. I didn't get into the really early stuff. Got some Dumbo. I was never a huge fan of Dumbo was okay. I was never a huge fan of Dumbo, but I also didn't really like this like fever dream sequence that they did. I think where he was maybe drunk or something. There was all these like psychedelic elephants. That was never my favorite as a kid. Oh yeah, and see some of this behind the scenes stuff is just really cool. So if you can see this photo here, they actually have a deer in a room, and they have hay in the middle of this hardwood floor, and they're all sitting around sketching and drawing and trying to come up with how they're going to animate, how they're going to draw this. And I guess this is for Bambi. So to try to get that visual style from animators who are making this stuff for the first time. Some of them may have never really done animal life that way or done, deer specifically. And so it's a way for them to try to get that concept. So I know what, Lion King, they would look at lions and they look at the movement and the pattern and stuff, but to see it in an early photo like that, they just brought the deer into the studio. They didn't even care. I'm assuming you go into the studios at Disney back in the day there, and you just didn't know what you would see one day to the next. Yeah, some chalk stuff. Oh, and then here's a really neat piece, a really neat photo showing one of the plate systems that they would use to actually to film things. This is a multi-plane camera, and then each of these operators are they could be working simultaneously, rigging up the scene, and then they would photograph it from the top there. It's a really neat photo, and that's what I think. These are great resource books as a collector, you can look at these and learn a little bit more about animation and how the process worked. And then not only that, but you also get to see, you know, pieces within here that might come up for auction someday. Now with Disney, a lot of these things are going to be within their archives, but there's some things that, you know, did leak out. And for a while, you know, they didn't have as high of a prestige on their pieces. It was just, this was work. This wasn't art. It was work. Oh, Mr. Toad, I believe. I never saw the Wind in the Willows or the Fabulous Mr. Toad or whatever it was. I never did see them. I think it's Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland. Oh, this is kind of an interesting Alice in Wonderland piece. She got her neck kind of growing like a giraffe out of the trees there. And I want, you know, you have to wonder, like, what parts of this were included in the movie versus what parts of the movie were, you know, what was cut from the movie versus how close did this get? I mean, you know, was this something that they cut last minute, or they brought the idea and the concept and they're like, what are you thinking? You just never know. Let's go some of the early Queen of Hearts stuff. These all have a very distinct style to them. I've seen a lot of Disney artwork that's sort of in that style, Cinderella especially. Those have become very popular at auctions lately. Lady and the Tramp, which just looks like nothing like Lady or the Tramp, in my opinion. Now we're getting a little bit more into the look and the feel of things. Oh, Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, and see, these are kind of similar to that style I was talking about before. They just, I don't know, it just has a particular look. It just has a particular kind of, it's Ivan Earl. So I'm not sure if he did those other pieces, but they definitely look similar to each other. Yeah, and then, you know, so you got the main book here again, lots of illustrations throughout. Yeah, lots of movies and series and cartoons that are covered. And then also in the very back, you then get a really nice index as well, so that you can find things a little bit more easier within the book. I realize, you know, the index, you're probably thinking, oh boy, I'm glad we're covering that in this video. I've never seen an index before. But to be able to find, you know, if I find that particular artist and I'm like, oh, I wonder what other stuff he did, you know, they might have that person featured in here within the rest of the book. So being able to find, so it covers a lot of different areas. It's a really hefty book, and I like it. I think it's going to be a great piece of my collection. I had debated between this and the $25 edition, which, you know, that one I believe is, you know, more like this small. And this one's got a nice size to it. But I mean, this is one of those, Disney is never going to go out of style. And covering movies from that era, you know, 21 to 68, I mean, it's, you know, it's a good research piece. It's a good art piece. It's a good show piece, and it's got that girth to it to be substantial within a collection. And so that's why I decided against the $25 edition. Also because I didn't end up having to pay the full $200 retail on this. So that's a plus as well. Well, I'm very happy to own this book. It is a big one. I enjoy it a lot. I like the oversized, the big books. It takes me back to the days of, you know, the public library where you had the books that you couldn't check out because they were just so huge. If you don't know what a public library is, it's a place where they house the books. They had these in like reference and things like Skyrim or video games, the arcane libraries, and you got the spell. Anyway, a place where books are held. But they had the big books and they were oversized and you couldn't even check them out of the library. They were so big. And that's how I feel about these books and some of the other things I've reviewed, where I like that heft, that girth to a book that just, it says I'm here. And so I really like that about this. Taschen does a really good job of manufacturing these bigger, larger, limited edition books. They have a lot of them are way more expensive, you know, the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range. And this is more in that $200 retail. And so it's a little bit more affordable and I didn't have to pay full price for it. So it's even better. So happy to have it in my collection. It's going to be a great showpiece to let people look at and look at all the cool imagery, but also as a reference piece for as I'm collecting different pieces of animation artwork. It can be a reference for that as well. Well, thanks for watching the Pop Art Hunter channel, and we will see you next time.